What if you were taken away from everything you knew at the tender age of 11? Imagine a life filled with the simple pleasures of childhood, friends, school, family, all abruptly shattered by an unthinkable act. This was the grim reality for Jaycee Dugard. Before June 10, 1991, Jaycee was an ordinary girl living in Lake Tahoe, California. She was the apple of her stepfather's eye, the one who used to watch her catch the school bus each morning. She was the friend who shared laughter and secrets, the student who diligently turned in her homework, the daughter who kissed her mother goodnight. But on that fateful summer day, as she walked up the hill of her home to catch the school bus, she was blindsided. A car swooped in, and before she could even scream, a paralyzing stun gun was pressed against her skin. In those terrifying moments, 11-year-old Jaycee was swept away by Phillip and Nancy Garrido. The aftermath was immediate and frantic. Jaycee's stepfather, who had seen the kidnapping from the porch, gave chase on his mountain bike. But it was too late. The car sped away, and with it, his beloved stepdaughter. The alarm was raised, the police were summoned, and search parties were organized. The town was in a state of shock, as the family's desperate plea for Jaycee's safe return echoed through the air. Missing posters went up, her face was printed on every milk carton, and her story was broadcasted on every news channel. But days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years, with no sign of Jaycee. As the search continued, hope dwindled. But little did anyone know Jaycee was not far away. She was right there in the backyard of the Garridos, living a life none could fathom. This was just the beginning of Jaycee Dugard's harrowing ordeal. Imagine spending your most formative years confined in a backyard, stripped of your freedom. This was the chilling reality for Jaycee Dugard, a seemingly ordinary 11-year-old who was thrust into an extraordinary and horrifying situation. Jaycee was held captive in a makeshift compound, a backyard turned prison, by Phillip and Nancy Garrido. This was no ordinary backyard. It was a complex of sheds, tents, and hidden rooms designed to conceal their terrible secret. A space that was meant for laughter and play was warped into a place of tears and terror, a place where Jaycee would spend the next 18 years of her life. The Garridos' control over Jaycee was more than physical. It was psychological, a manipulation so profound it left her disconnected from the world she once knew. The Garridos convinced her that they were her protectors, the only ones who truly cared for her. It was a twisted reality, but for Jaycee it was the only reality she knew. Amidst this grim existence, Jaycee gave birth to two daughters fathered by Phillip Garrido. The first arrived when Jaycee was just 14, the second 3 years later. These girls, born into captivity, knew nothing of the outside world, their lives confined to the same backyard that had become their mother's prison. Despite the circumstances, Jaycee found strength in her role as a mother, a beacon of hope in the otherwise desolate landscape of her life. For 18 years, Jaycee endured. She survived the unimaginable, living a life that was far removed from what any child or teenager should experience. Every day was a battle, a testament to her resilience and her will to survive, to protect her daughters, and to hold on to the hope of a better future. Jaycee's life became an unimaginable reality, one that was about to take an unexpected turn. As the years rolled on, the world outside the confines of the Garridos' backyard was changing, and with it came the glimmer of hope for a life beyond the backyard. What would it take for a missing person to be discovered after 18 years? Imagine this. It's August 24th, 2009. Phillip Garrido strolls into the University of California, Berkeley, with two young girls in tow. He's there to seek permission for a special event on campus, a religious event he claims. But the campus officers, Lisa Campbell and Allie Jacobs, sense something's off. Garrido's behavior is erratic, and the girls, they're unusually subdued for their age. Their instincts tell them something's not right, so they do a little digging. They find out Garrido is a registered sex offender. The alarm bells are ringing loud and clear now. The officers contact Garrido's parole officer, who surprisingly isn't aware that Garrido has any children. Now that's something that would make anyone curious. So the parole officer arranges a meeting with Garrido, his wife Nancy, the two girls, and a third girl. At this meeting, Garrido introduces the third girl as Alyssa, his brother's daughter. But her pale skin, the haunted look in her eyes, the way she holds herself, it all screams a story that's far from the innocent tale Garrido is trying to spin. Here's where it gets even more chilling. Garrido, under questioning, admits that Alyssa is actually Jaycee Dugard, a girl who vanished from her hometown 18 years ago. It's a moment of shock, disbelief, and horror as the truth starts to unravel. And so, the story that began with an 11-year-old girl walking to her school bus stop and never reaching there finally finds its shocking climax. The girl, now a woman, had been living in the backyard of Phillip and Nancy Garrido, enduring unimaginable horrors all these years. On August 26, 2009, Jaycee Dugard's identity was finally revealed, ending her 18-year-long captivity. What happens when a captive regains their freedom after nearly 2 decades? In the aftermath of Jaycee Dugard's shocking discovery, the world watched in disbelief as the perpetrators, Phillip and Nancy Garrido, were arrested and brought to justice. Their trial exposed the extent of their heinous actions, and the public's shock and horror were palpable. The Garridos were convicted, with Phillip sentenced to 431 years of imprisonment and Nancy to 36 years to life. While the world grappled with the inhumanity of this case, Jaycee began a different kind of struggle, her journey back to freedom. Reuniting with her family was a poignant moment, a moment filled with joy, relief, and a sense of surreal disbelief. Jaycee was no longer an 11-year-old girl. She was a woman of 29, with 2 daughters of her own, born in captivity. The world she left behind had moved on without her, and the task of catching up was daunting. Imagine being thrust into a world that had evolved technologically and socially, a world that had become a stranger. Jaycee had to learn to navigate a society that had changed drastically since she was last a part of it. The internet, smartphones, social media, all these were foreign concepts to her, concepts she had to learn and adapt to. But it wasn't just the technological advances she had to adjust to. She had to relearn the norms of a society that had grown and changed in her absence. Simple everyday activities like shopping or taking public transportation became monumental tasks. Psychological healing was another significant aspect of her transition. Having lived under constant fear and manipulation, Jaycee had to deal with the trauma that had been inflicted upon her. With the help of therapists and the unwavering support of her family, she started her journey towards healing. Jaycee Dugard had to find her place in a world that had moved on without her. Can one truly overcome such a traumatic past and build a new life? This is the question that Jaycee Dugard faced after her 18-year-long nightmare ended. She was no longer an 11-year-old girl. She was a woman of 29 and a mother of 2 daughters. The world she once knew had evolved dramatically. She had to learn to exist in a reality far removed from the backyard prison she had known for nearly 2 decades. Jaycee Dugard's resilience was nothing short of extraordinary. She chose to confront her past head-on, sharing her story in a memoir titled A Stolen Life. The book is not just a recounting of her ordeal, but a testament to her indomitable spirit and her will to survive. It gave her a platform to express her experiences and emotions, a therapeutic release that helped her heal and move forward. Beyond her memoir, Jaycee also established the Jaycee Foundation. This organization provides support for families that have suffered from abduction and other traumatic experiences. Jaycee understood the importance of a healing environment, having experienced the profound impact of trauma herself. She wanted to create a safe space where victims could find their strength, just as she did. But perhaps the most crucial part of Jaycee's life after her discovery was rebuilding her life and those of her daughters. The bond she shared with her daughters, born in captivity, was a powerful force that helped her navigate through the challenges of their new freedom. She had to teach them about the world, about trust, about love, things she herself was relearning. It was a journey full of trials and triumphs, but one they embraced together. Jaycee Dugard's story is a chilling reminder of the evil that exists in the world, but it is also a testament to human resilience, to the power of hope, and to the strength that can be found even in the bleakest of circumstances. Jaycee Dugard turned her tragic past into a beacon of hope, proving that resilience can emerge from even the darkest corners of our lives.